everyone. This is Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy, and welcome to my corner of the internet all about my cross stitch. This is episode 42, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Unfortunately, I personally don't have the answers to life, universe, and the everything, other than the fact that it's 42. But I am Amy. Welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I know I've had a little bit of increase in subscribers, so all of you who are new, welcome. If you came to me from somebody else rather than the YouTube algorithm, please let me know who you heard of me from. I think I have found most of the people that have mentioned me, but not everybody fills you in the description, and you don't get a notification unless they put you in the description as a tag. So I would love to find some new Flosstubers, that even though I don't have time to watch the ones that I already have subscribed to. I am working on that though. I am trying to watch at least one episode from everybody on my subscription list. There's a few people who haven't posted in like 3 years, and I think, despite the fact that sometimes people come back after a long hiatus, for my sanity and not feeling guilty about not watching people, I think I'm going to remove those people from my subscription list. If they start posting in, I'd be happy to watch them again, but I've got to do something where I don't feel guilty about being so behind all the time. And the summer's almost over, and I haven't gotten through half the people on my list. So I'm changing the way I'm doing that. And just doing at least one episode of everybody, and then trying to stay up with the people that I watch regularly. So that was a tangent, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm excited that you're here. And let's get on with a few life updates. So lots of doctor's visits in the last month. My husband has a surgical procedure tomorrow. It should be go in, come home the same night as long as everything goes well. So crossing my fingers. Excuse me. This weekend I got to participate in 2 online stitchy events. There was the round robin meeting to try to sort out our projects for the round robin being hosted by Jason X Stitches. There is a website so that you can find all of everyone involves Instagrams and Flosstubes. In fact, in the meeting this weekend, like 3 of the participants have decided to start Flosstubes now. So it is encouraged people to jump into the Flosstube community, which is awesome. I missed hearing their channel names, and some of them hadn't finished deciding their channel name. So he should update them in the Flosstube section of the Round Robin's website. There's also a link to everybody involved's Instagrams. So, yay! I also got to go to Wendy from a Stitch in the Matrix Zoom meeting. It was a small group, but I met some new people, and it was cool to hang out with her. I also got to meet Donna and Haley. There was somebody else that came in, but unfortunately I don't remember their name. So let's go back to the round robin because I'm squirreling like crazy this morning. We have finally decided, we got 3 of us together yesterday, so we finally decided that everybody's just going to pick their own design, and we'll each stitch a different piece of that design, because our group's been too accommodating. Like, nobody wanted to say, no, we're going to do this, because it's supposed to be fun and we didn't want to be bossy. So we just decided to go with everybody does their own. We set a size limit of 115 by 115 so that everybody's part will be around 3,000 stitches or less. Just because one of the people in the group is retired, but the rest of us work. So we thought we didn't want to overwhelm anybody with the number of stitches, and we're going to do it over a couple of months, so that nobody feels rushed and they can still work on their own projects and work on the other things that they want to do, so you're not just furiously stitching the round robin, right? Thing that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I want to return to is every year I participate in NAMIWalks. If you're not familiar, NAMI is the National Association for Mental Illness. It is a great organization. They host free classes. They offer people support in finding resources to support them either in their mental health journey or in their, or in their function as a caregiver for someone with mental illness. Like, how do you cope when they have a bad day? What are some resources for your emotional battery recharging? Like, how can they help you as a caregiver of someone who has a mental illness continue to maintain a healthy mental state and emotional state? Because that's important. So I am going to link below my fundraiser page for NAMI. If you can donate, that would be great. If you can't, if you would feel free to share it on Instagram, Facebook, all the socials. This year, the Minneapolis NAMIWalks is September 27th. The first year I did it, I was going to run the 5K, but nobody else was running, so I just ended up walking because I didn't want to run over people. Not that I'm a super fast runner, but it is an excellent organization. I have used them to help me figure out some of our rights and stuff and things like that in the past. Very personal. I have some mental health issues myself, some anxiety, depression. I did not get diagnosed with depression until I was 35 because I had good grades. I was able to maintain a job for the most part. Like, I could do all the adult things. And of course, now I also think I'm autistic based on life history. If you knew what I was like when I ate as a child, like, I only ate like 5 things for the longest time. I didn't even start eating cheese on tacos until I was in my 30s. So, very picky eater. Clear sign, right? Like, played library and put book sleeves for the checkout things in my books and put spine labels, like, yeah. And volume control issues when I talk, social awkwardness, difficulty making friends. It all lines up. And I used to feel guilty about, like, self-diagnosing with this particular thing, but it turns out they did a study and 95% of adults who think they're autistic when they actually get the test are. So, yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm on the spectrum. It makes my life make a lot more sense in many ways. I wish I had known it earlier so I could have gotten some better coping mechanisms for it, which of course increases the chance of depression and anxiety and all of those fun things. But my husband also has mental health issues. His are more severe than mine. So this is a very personal cause for me. So if you can, please, please donate. You might notice that my little tapestry is missing. My husband's like, it either needs to be all the way behind you or you need to take it down so there's not just a silly corner. But I think what I'm going to do, because our cat is not, he goes back here occasionally, but he's a weird cat. He doesn't like, most cats I've ever had, like to lay above you, like here. He doesn't want to do that. I put a blanket that I'd been laying on my lap up here, hoping he would come sit up here. No, he doesn't like that. Now I have it down by my feet and he'll sleep there all the time. He's the only cat I've ever had that doesn't like to sleep above his people. He likes to sleep at your feet like a dog. Such a weird cat. But anyway, I think what I might do, since he doesn't get up here much, is maybe I have one finished and framed design, and it's hanging on the wall on the opposite side of the house. Maybe I should put some of my cross-stitch pieces back here. I don't have many framed, but I can fix that. I also wanted to thank some people for giving me shout-outs since my last Flosstube. Karen from the Stitching Owl. I have had her on my subscription list, but I hadn't got around to watching her, so I did go watch. She has some very interesting projects where she films. There is above her head this beautiful stained glass owl. Gorgeous. I cannot, she said, I commented on it, and she said that it was her bat from last year. I can't believe she finished that in a year. Oh my goodness. And then Liz Braincat from Stitch by Liz. We got to hang out at Frogwarts a little bit, and I really appreciated her shout out. She had some really nice things today, and she's always very kind, and a bunch of like wonderfully nerdy, awesome stitches. She's working on her Sorcerer Mickey, still almost done. I'm so excited for her to get to finish that. She's been working on that since her first Flosstube video, and I've watched most of Liz's, so during the school year I have a really hard time getting caught up, but I've got to figure out a routine. And a reminder, or a piece of information if you weren't here last week. So last Flosstube, episode 41, I did a giveaway. So if you want to have a chance to enter the giveaway, you need to go back to that video. It is a 1987 cross-stitch book full of animal stitches with puns on them. But if you would like to enter, you need to go to that video and comment. I will use the random comment picker. I think that's still working because I think it wasn't for a while, but a lot of people are currently using it, so it must be working again. And I will draw right before my next video next weekend. And I am filming on Monday today. I usually film on Sundays now. So I should be back to my normal schedule next weekend. Sunday morning filming and posting. I just was not in the headspace the last couple of Sundays to do it on Sunday. And since I don't have to work, I can delay it a day, and it's okay. All right. So there you go. That is all the kind of life updates. It is about a month left till school starts. Teacher workshop starts August 25th, so just under a month till that starts. I get Labor Day weekend off. Ooh, that reminds me though. So the Crossstitch community, or Crossstitch Society. I think it's the Crossstitch Society. They are hosting a retreat on Labor Day weekend. That is the weekend of the last weekend in August and September 1st. They are doing the Rise of the Retreat. It's a Star Wars theme online retreat. It's going to be hosted on Discord. I think it's like $15. So super affordable. There's a few people I know that are Star Wars fans. I'm thinking Liz. I don't know if she's going, but I know, or at least her hubby is a Star Wars fan. And I think she is too, because they named their cat Vader. So, so if you like Star Wars and you like cross-stitch, you might want to check that out. I don't think there's a limit because it's on Discord. There's no hotel stuff. So I think Shan Carroll is the one in charge of it. You can check it out. I'm not sure where. They don't have a Facebook page. They have a Discord. I will link the information about the retreat below. I had not intended on mentioning it originally, and it popped into my brain. So, all right, let's get into the stitching. I have 2 finishes for you this week. So, I really need to get a board. Oh, you know what? I've got my tablet here. So we'll just close the case. And it's going to double as my board, because my finishes are tiny. So, this is Christmas Morning by Jennifer Aikman Smith of Dragon Dream Designs. I started this on May 4th of this year, and I finished it on the 22nd of this month. Alright, this is on 36 count stonewashed by Seraphim. It is the leftover bit I had from Frogwarts. And it's 18 colors and 2/2. Okay, I love dragons, and I love Christmas. So I don't decorate like I did when my kid was little. We haven't had a Christmas tree since we moved to Minnesota. We had a fake one that looked really nice and real for when we were in Texas, and then we were moving in with the in-laws when we first moved up here. There was no room for it. We gave it to a friend, and we just haven't bothered to buy a Christmas tree since, because we were usually going to the in-laws and we did the whole Christmas thing there, and we just didn't have the money since, because to get a nice looking artificial tree, it's a little expensive. But I love Christmas. I love that childhood feeling I get at Christmas. And I love dragons. And so this really made me feel like a little kid at Christmas. So this is some whisper thread. It is a very simple design. It looked like a meaningless blob until I put the back stitch in, because everything kind of all blended together. Okay, so I'm bringing this up. This is a mascara brush. I bought like a 20 pack of these because people have been saying, multiple people on Flosstube have been saying, what a great idea it is to use this when you have to frog to get the fuzzies off. But I also thought it would be a great way to pull out, and I haven't actually tried this because I want my whisper thread to be fuzzy because it's supposed to be poofy. So I also thought, like, if you have whisper thread and it's stuck underneath, that this would be a good way to help poof it out too, instead of just using it when you're frogging. So he is so cute. Santa taking a nap with a whittle dragon. So I am probably going to do a flat fold finish on this. I don't know if I'm going to fully finish it as an ornament, or maybe make a background and like put magnets on the back so I can change out seasonal stuff. But he is so cute. It makes me think of childhood, sleeping at grandma's house. I don't know why. Oh, probably because I was always cuddling a stuffed animal and wearing special Christmas PJs. Because tradition in our house when I was a kid is we almost always went to my mom's parents for Christmas. And my sister and I slept in the fold-away bed in the middle bedroom. My parents slept down in the extra bedroom that was also my grandpa's office. And then my aunt, who lived in the same town, would just come from her house. But Christmas Eve, we always got to open one present, and it was always the same thing. Sorry, I dropped my mascara brush. I had to find it. Every Christmas Eve, we would get to open one present. It was always the same, and my grandmother would frequently forget to mark which present we were supposed to open. Because we would get clothes and stuff, you know, as well as toys. And it was always a pair of Christmas pajamas. So my sister and I always got matching Christmas PJs. And then we would put on our special Christmas PJs to go to bed. And there was a rule. We could not wake up the parents before a certain time in the morning. I was always the first one up, even as a teenager. Like, I would wake up before my sister, who was 2 years younger than me. I always got so excited. So the rule was that I think it was like 7 a.m. We could not get the adults up before 7. And we couldn't open any presents. However, we could, before that time, we could dig through our stockings and play with whatever was in the stockings until they got up. And then we could do the Christmas presents. And then somebody would play Santa and pass out the presents, and you would rotate through who got to open. So I think that's one of the things, other than that the dragon is really cute. And they have several Christmas dragon designs at Dragon Dreams. And they're in a lot of the Just Cross Stitch Christmas ornaments. There's like a unicorn and a dragon one and stuff. So they are super cute, and I love it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to finally finish it. Now, this is my second finish this week, my third finish of July, and my 12th finish of the year. So, all right, this is Queer Goth by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this on May 15th and finished it on the 27th of this month. It is on a piece of 32 count black even weave that I have in my stash. I'm going to drop that down a little bit. It is 13 colors and 2/2. So this was part of the 2023 Pride bundle. So the charity bundle, and I did the honeybee, the Cape honeybee for my kiddo. And then this is for a former coworker. So I was thinking about making it into a patch, which I don't know how to do. So if you have a good tutorial on how to take something and turn it into a patch, I don't know if I have the proper stuff on my sewing machine to make the nice little curly Q or the sealed edges, but I will give it a shot. But I think it's a little bit big because here is a highlighter. So it's like, because of the count I did it in on, it's like 3.5 by 5 inches instead of 4 inches by 5.5. But I think that's a bit big for a patch. However, the finish that they showed in the thing was in a coffin frame, like a little insect coffin. And I think enough of the Halloween stuff should be at Michael's that they might have a little wooden coffin frame. So I think that would probably be better than the patch, since I don't think I have the right equipment. But if you know of a good tutorial on how to turn something into a patch, please let me know the name of it so I can Google it or pop a link down below. All right, now new starts. My new start, which I started on the 24th of the month, is Halloween Quaker. I have been waiting to start this for so long. All right, so I won this last year from the Floss Boss and Cousins. I won not the pattern, but the started project. And I was supposed to get the threads, but the threads got lost before the giveaway. So I didn't get the threads. So when I got this motif was done. About half of this motif was done, not the center part, but like this part around here. And then this section of this was done, and then most of this witch's hat. However, when I bought my Black Coffee and Blackbird and Rainy Day, it was a different dye lot. So I had to frog everything except for the one corner piece that was in 310 and start over. So the first day I worked on this, or first day and a half I worked on this, I was actually frogging. I didn't get to actually stitch on it. So, but I did get started, and it is on the called for murky Newcastle linen by Picture This Plugs, 40 count. I'm doing it 1/2. And I am going to use most of the called for. I love this fabric so much. I wish I had a bazillion miles of it. All right, so this was from the previous owner. As I said, I had to frog all of this. There was a mistake in here. This wasn't done yet. So, but I frogged it all, and this is what I've worked on in the last 2 days. I am going to try to get 600 stitches in this before the end of the tomorrow, because it fits a pop-up challenge for my group, and I can get bonus points. So this is on my list of work to work on today, but it is so gorgeous. In fact, I don't have much else, but oh, I just have to, the fabric is so gorgeous. I love it. Part of me really hopes that maybe there's a tiny corner of it left. I won't need the whole thing, and I can put something small on it, another piece of something on it. Yes, and that is what, that's the first thing I used my mascara brush on, was to gently pull. Since it's linen, I definitely didn't want to pull out the strands of the fabric. So this is a genius, and I was like, really? That'll work? And it does. It works so well. And you can go on both sides of the fabric. You don't have to worry. I have found it's not as good for if you've got stitches in and there's little fuzzies on that, because sometimes it'll snag the stitches and make it look a little. So you have to be careful of that. So only use it on spots where you don't have any other stitches you want to keep. It's not terrible, but it can make them a little bit, it can grab them if there's a rough spot in the thread. So be careful of that. All right, now whips. Bum, bum, bum. I don't have my husband's wonderful transitions anymore. Sorry. Itchy eyelash. My first whip for you this week is Sapita by Maroomy Designs. That is what she will look like when she is done. And this is where I am at. So since I last saw you, I have gotten up further over here. I moved the mountains down. This is, I started this on August 14th of 2023. It is on 32 count Yellowstone by Bling Designs. I am using the DMC 4240 Midsummer Nights, and I'm doing it 1/1. The part that I am stitching is the negative space on the pattern. It's ending up being the same color. So in the pattern, I should be stitching the parts in white. But since I have this gorgeous fabric, I wanted to make the sun rays the yellow. And so instead of stitching it on blue, I'm stitching the blue. But I think she looks lovely. All right, what is next? What Lies Beneath by Charting Creations. Dakota Detweiler is the artist. I love nautical. I love kaijus and giant monster things. So this is perfect for me. When I first found it, it was, I think, on Pain Free Crafts. and I learned about it through somebody's Flosstube, but it was already discontinued, and I was trying to hunt it down, and somebody pointed out, hey, you don't have to. It's not a unicorn chart. Somebody else just picked up the licensing rights for it. So I started this on May 20th. I'm doing it on 32 count linen. Hello, Dwimmer. That was the cat bumping the tripod, sorry. Yeah, you gonna come say hi? Come on. Come on. Don't step on that. I don't know why you like to eat the edge of papers. Are you gonna come say hi to everybody? Or are you just gonna be a pest? Okay, are you gonna lay down and be good? All right. It's on 32 count linen. I'm doing it 1/1. I can't even remember how many colors there are in this. It's a lot. I was missing some of the colors. I am working on that now. But look at that. I've gotten a few hundred stitches in. If you look, you can see there is some confetti in there. I'm still missing like the blank spaces. It's because I don't have the colors in the box yet. That's one of the things I'm going to work on this week. But look at that. Gorgeous blues. And I can see in person like the subtle changes in the bunch of blue up here. I don't know if you can. I can't really see it, but maybe y'all can see it better than I can. But it is going to create a beautiful effect. And yes, 32 count for a big full coverage. But I couldn't, like, I don't have wall space to do everything totally full size. So we're going tiny. And I am not minding stitching on this at all. The 1/1 is nice. It's going to give it a very full picture look when it's done. And that's one of the things I like about full coverage is that if you get if there's no white sneaking, it looks like a painting. And I love that it looks like a painting. So, all right. Oh, here, there's 108 colors. All right. Next is my birthday salve for the year. Evening in the Shire by Brovko. Are Cute Patterns by Maria. So those I did not take out of the hoop because the whole design that I've done has been in the hoop. But I was like, wait, you know, if the whole design won't show in the hoop, I should take the hoop off. So I'm going to do that from now on. So I started this a day early. I started this on April 19th this year. This is my Damn the Man birthday salve. So if you have not heard, my Damn the Man is the idea is you stitch on something that inspires you, that fights against the power, that sparks joy, that as an example of resistance. So it could be a pattern like a Ruth Bader Ginsburg because you admire her, or someone who stood up for other people's rights, or anything like that. I chose Evening in the Shire because hobbits are the ultimate example to me of little guy standing up to the big guy. And there are some hoop creases because I just took this out of the hoop before. But this is Evening in the Shire. It is on 28 count malachite by Fiber on a Whim. My sal for my birthday is Damn the Man sal. My birthday is over, but feel free to join in and stitch on something that sparks joy or symbolizes the rights, fighting for someone's rights. There's 6 colors and it is 2/2. And a lot of this is backstitch, so it makes it a little hard to fit it in with the challenges because then I have to do so much. Most of this up here, these are mostly tent stitch except for the moon. So I always it looks like I got a lot farther because I have to do like 400 stitches for 2 of those so it fills up. That is our little house from the Shire. And I am looking forward to working on this some more. It is so beautiful. And I just love it. Let's see. What is next? Oh, yes. Deadly Aquarium Sal, which I'm hoping will get a lot more work next month. I am on Exhibit 4. I did not finish the frame before it started. I was working on the frame, and then I started on Exhibit 1 and realized I had screwed it up. So now I'm kind of cautiously working on the frame as I add in other things. So this was my birthday start last year in 2024. It is on 32 count Sequoia by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and it's 32 colors, and I'm doing it 2/1. So here's the whole thing. And if you have not been here before, I picked this because I thought it kind of looked like a tide pool. So I have finished Exhibit 1, which is the moray eel and the treasure chest, the pufferfish and the kelp, the coral, and next is the venomous spines. I didn't get to the fish. I filled in the greenish color under the... Let's do this so I can focus on the part that I actually worked on. I filled in this area here, and filled in some of the seagull. I love this piece so much. I want to do the Haunted Library. I want to do the Greenhouse of Oddities. I want to do the Extraordinary Birds. I think I like Lola Crow's designs just a little bit. Oh, I have one more whip for you. I almost forgot. I almost skipped past it over my notes. Yeah, 32 colors. I think 2 over 1 for that one. No, that's 2 over 2 too. Both of these are 2 over 2. I wrote up my notes wrong. So my last whip for you, I did for my countdown to year 7 for Frogwarts this week. It is Emerald Mermaid by Mirabilia. I started this on May 1st this year for like Mermaid May, Miramay, or Mermaid, my Mermania. I didn't do Mermania, I just did Mania. But I started off my Mania with a mermaid because I don't have that many mermaid charts. I inherited this from my grandmother, and it is on 32 count Juniper by Fabrics by Stephanie. I didn't take it out of the hoop because the entire part I've done is in the hoop. 28 colors and 2 over 2. So I've now got a second flower in. I am doing her skin 1 over 1, so that's the beginning of her hand there in the center. I know it is you have to be careful with 1 over 1 on linen, but getting 4 stitches for every stitch on the pattern makes those challenge stitches go pretty quick. But I think it's a little nervous about the greens on this kind of bluey green, but I think it is going to work out fine. I think it looks really nice. Although I think I kind of wish sometimes that there was a little back stitching around the flowers. But that's alright. I think once the beads and stuff get in, it'll change it up a lot. I did make a working pattern because this is the old school ones where it's one giant sheet of paper. I do plan on giving this pattern away once I am done with her. But she is going to be gorgeous. Alright, that was the whips. Next. Alright. So, this month, I am continuing with my weeklies. Fandom is hosting a July finishes. I've done 3 finishes for July. I have a bunch of those little ornaments that I started, the little card kits. I am going to work on those after my challenge stitching every day to try to finish up. Although probably today and tomorrow, today will be Halloween Quaker after I do my challenge stitching, to try to get those 600 in. I've already got like 300 and something, I think. I'm not gonna my brain was gonna go, oh, let's look at and see how many I've got. But I'm not gonna do that yet because my book that I keep track of my paper patterns on is in a different spot. All right. What else do we got? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes trying to make sure. So, tomorrow is my husband's procedure. I'll be at the hospital forever, how long that takes. I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't even know what time we have to be there tomorrow because they always call you the day before to say, hey, show up at this time. So we're waiting on that call. When I find out what time it is, I'm just going to pack up my little 14 count because then I don't have to worry about lights so much, and I'll just work on those while I wait for him to be done. I have to be home all day on Wednesday with him. He's supposed to have somebody with him for the first 24 hours. So that day I will be doing some thread organizing. There's a couple of new starts I want, but I'm missing some threads. I need to get the materials for my round robin now that I know what I'm doing. So like Wednesday when I'm here at home, I'm going to work on organizing all of that, because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like on Tuesday, so I can't plan anything. And maybe organize some stuff to make a couple of project bags. So that's my plans for Wednesday, since I have to be home all day. I am doing the countdown to year 7 for the Black Needle Society for Hogwarts, excuse me. This next one that I called, well, I'll be working on Frogwarts year 1. So you'll see that again next week. I have picked my design for my round robin. Actually, let's see. I've got my tablet here. Let's see. I already renewed that. All right. Let's go to the interwebs on the tablet. So I've decided to do ink circles, dragon elementals. Should have had this pulled up. Elemental dragons. I'm gonna do the water ones. 1, I like water themed stuff, and 2, can I do it? Ooh, let's get it right. Ooh, the ring light's centering it for it. And 2, I kind of like the seahorse vibe of this, and I think it's the easiest one to split into 4 parts for the round robin. Now, I want to get some really pretty blue fabric. I'm planning on doing it on 32 count. And then I'm trying to figure out, I want to use some variegated thread instead of the called for black. So what I am thinking is sea dragons are real animals. And I think it would be cool if I could find some variegated thread that would look nice on the blue fabric and kind of makes you think of real sea dragons. And then maybe I'm trying to decide if I want to do a variegated green for the actual seaweed part. And then the boat, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But also the idea that I had is that other people could do their sections in a different variegated thread if they would like. Which I know is risky. But I think it would be cool. And I want to do all of these, but I decided to start with this one. So our rule was it can't be more than 115 by 115, so that when they divide it up, it's about 3,000 stitches or less per person. Everybody's working. So if you have any suggestions for a beautiful blue fabric or some variegated thread that you think would look really good for that design, please throw it in the comments below. I'm reaching a little bit of decision paralysis when it comes to this. I don't mind using DMC variegated for this at all. And I know I probably won't make a final decision on the thread until I get the fabric, because the fabric does not always look the same in person. I think I might call Black Cat Stitchery up and see what they might have suggestions regarding that. I was looking on Etsy, so if you have any dyers that you really recommend that are not too crazily priced, please send me their links, their Etsy shops, whatever, so that I can check out their stuff and pick out some. I was even looking on eBay to see if I could find something I really liked. That is for the round robin that Jason X Stitches is hosting. I am also a little late starting the orange fabric Halloween sale. I'm going to use my Pumpkin King. I did decide on what project I was going to do on it, and I made a copy for this part. I don't need this, but I need the key. So I'm going to do Raven Moon, and a lot of you did vote for the witch, and I was going to do the witch until in the Crossstitch Society group, I was like, hey guys, I'm stuck. I don't know which one of these to pick. And somebody pointed out that the garden, or the Dream Witch, one is from a designer that tends to steal ideas and patterns from other designers and do small tweaks on them. They also tend to use a lot of AI, and the Dreamcatcher is cultural appropriation. So they pointed that out, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I'll be stitching that then. If you are stitching one of that designer's designs, that I'm no shade on you. Stitch what makes you happy. I just decided that I wasn't going to. And I think that the raven will look really nice. And then I think I might also do Midnight Ride at a later date on that same fabric. I don't think I've seen, I mean, I know there was a phase where everybody was doing Midnight Ride, and I just didn't have the fabric that I wanted to do for it, and I think it would be interesting to do it on that one. So there's that. I am also going to be joining in with Kenny Stitch's Sal in August called The Abandoned Sal. So I'm going to take a bunch of my Sals. I've got the Overlook Sal, the It Sal, the Cutesy Friend Sal from last year, which is Care Bear themed. The new one they've released a sneak peek of. It's Smurfs this year. I'm not going to do the Smurf one too. I don't need that many of them that say Friends in the middle. Just don't. I've got my Deadly Aquarium Sal. I've got the Supernatural Sal. Do I have any other Sals? Possibly, but 5 is enough, right? Well, maybe not, but it'll keep me busy for the month of August anyway. Especially since I'll have to be going into school to get my stuff ready, teacher workshop starts, all that stuff. So those are my current plans. I will also be having more than 50 starts this year. I have my official 50 starts, and then I have some bonuses because there's still stuff I want to start, and I was going to replace those starts with the newer stuff that I started, like the Halloween Quaker. Actually, that was already on my list. But, and now I've just decided, you know what? The Red Robin was an unplanned start. Or, not the Red Robin. The Round Robin was an unplanned start. Harvest Moon, or the Raven Moon was an unplanned start. But I still want to start the things that I was originally intending to start. There are a few things that I've knocked off, like there was a Stitchy journal, and I just couldn't think of a design that I wanted to put on it. So I'm like, ooh, good. I don't have to figure that out yet. So that's what I did. I am also participating in Whip Ghost still this year. Jessie Marie called the numbers on the 25th. This August is 12 and 15. So I still have to do both of July. So July is 2 days on Wisdom and a fully finished object. And guess what? I got the same thing for August. So I now owe Whip Go 4 days on Wisdom, my Wisdom stocking, and 2 FFOs. And that's one of the things I was going to work on Wednesday is an FFO. The thing I want to do for the FFO I'm a little nervous about because it involves taking glass out of a frame that it is glued into. So we shall see if I get up the guts to do that or if I chicken out and do one of my cards, which would still be an FFO, right? All right, so any plans that I have missed on my notes here? No. So, oh, I should explain the countdown to year 7. So if you are not familiar, you might not have been here last week, sorry. The thing I need to show you is right here. So in year 5, which was my first year at Frogwarts, we got this little card deck. And there's still some in the vault because somebody asked me about it. And it is stitching challenges inspired by the Wizarding World. So what it is it's a deck of 52 cards, and each of them have a educational decree on them, but they're really just prompts to randomize. So like this one, if I pulled this one, I would stitch on a project with a key. Or here's one, I would stitch on a project that says the word always. And I was thinking, I don't have that. Then I realized that I think on the bottom of one of the years, it says the quote in the Frogwarts has the word always in it. So if it's in quotes, you have to, that specific thing needs to be in the prompt. So that's what I did with the mermaid. She has a necklace, and the prompt was something with a necklace or a locket. And I finished year 6, which had a locket on it, or the necklace on it. So, and a lot of, that's an extra little challenge to do. And you just do like 200 stitches on it like you would for a regular stitching challenge. And you can do penalty stitches if you don't have anything that matches that prompt. Again, just a way to help motivate you to work on different stuff. All right, so shout outs. I still have been keeping up with Akio Whip, Erica, and Kevin. I always love their projects. and they make me laugh, especially when they're giving each other a little bit of a hard time. And, you know, Erica always wins. Sheldon and Stitches, he makes beautiful bags. He does beautiful projects. I'm liking how he took one of his cross-stitch patterns and turned it into a crochet project. Erin the hiking stitcher, she's always going on adventures. And, well, she hasn't lately because it's been too dang hot. But great projects. Stitchy Witch 42, Audrey, beautiful projects. And if you like journaling stuff, she does that as well. And she is on the mend from her health issues. So, yay! And then the 310 Stitcher Jade. She is hosting a Canada crafting retreat. So not just a cross-stitch retreat, but any fiber arts crafts, any kind of crafting. In Canada in August, and I think there's still some spots, she said. So I will not be participating. For one, I don't have a passport, and for two, it's at the beginning of the school year, where I have to start doing all my preschool teacher stuff. And because of the abandoned Sal that I heard about from Adelaide Stitches, who is hosting the Orange Fabric Halloween project, Sal. Yeah, the Orange Fabric Halloween Sal. She reminded me of Kenny Stitches by saying about his Sal. And I had watched one or two of his videos, but with all the other Flosstubers that jumped in my list, he kind of dropped off my feed. So I went back and I watched some of his. He has beautiful projects, a lot of the beautiful ladies. He is very enthusiastic about his stitching, very knowledgeable, but he's also very calm and chill. So that's really nice. Then one of my Frogworks friends, Sarah, she has a brand new Flosstube. She has 2 episodes out, already has 800 followers. So amazing. You guys have welcomed her in, but just in case you missed her, Threads and Tails. She's kind, she's friendly, she's a fellow Hufflepuff from Frogworks. Great projects, lots of variety. So her first video is just her introducing herself. Her teenage kids are helping her. And then her second one is a gallery wall, so you get to see all of her finished stuff she's already got up. Which I think gives you a really good idea if you have similar tastes with her in cross-stitching. And then I have also rediscovered Stitchman Darcy. Not that he needs anybody to tell anyone about him. But somebody had mentioned, I think it was Kat from Griffin, Stitching with the Griffin. She had mentioned that he has quit his other jobs and is now designing and dyeing full time. So that's amazing. I wish I had the guts to do that. And as you all know, he's hilarious. So yeah, those are kind of the people I've been watching. I will try to catch a few people that I missed next time around. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Enjoy your stitching. I'm still looking for a good exit line. You know, Stitchy Witch 42 has the live log and stitch on, which I'm very envious of, being a fellow Trekkie. But I've got to find my own. But I really do hope you have a great week and find some joy. Please like, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things. Feel free to comment, ask questions. This is episode 42. This is the episode all about the answers and the questions, right? Or maybe you give me an answer and I have to come up with a question to go with it. Since we know the answer to everything, the life, universe, and everything is 42, but we have forgotten the question. That's what I'll do. So long and thanks for all the fish. Have a great week and enjoy your stitching.